The space station Virex 9 was never quiet, but today it felt different. Merchants stopped talking. Guards held their breath. Even the lights seemed dull. Fear filled the air like smoke. At the center of the main hall stood Lord Curzon, a high-ranking alien noble. He was tall, armored in dark metal, with glowing red eyes. Beside him crouched his famous pet, a massive alien beast called a Gorath hound. Its claws scraped the floor. Its teeth dripped acid. Many had died to that creature. In front of them stood a human. The human was alone. No guards. No weapon in his hands. He wore simple travel armor, scratched and old. Brown eyes, calm face. Straight posture. Lord Curzon laughed, a sharp, cruel sound. "Why aren't you trembling, human?" he shouted. "With one word from me, my pet will devour you." The Gorath hound growled loudly. Its breath was hot. Its shadow covered the human. Around them, aliens stepped back. Some hid behind stalls. Others covered their eyes. Everyone knew what came next, but the human did not move. He did not scream. He did not beg. He did not shake. He simply looked at the beast. That alone shocked the crowd. Lord Curzon frowned. Humans were supposed to be weak, soft, easy to break. "Do you not understand your place?" The noble said. "You are far from Earth, far from help. One word and you die." The human finally spoke. His voice was calm, low. "Need to shout," he said. "I can hear you." A ripple of whispers spread through the hall. The Gorath hound lowered its head and sniffed the air. Its growl softened, changing into something strange. Almost confused, Lord Curzon noticed and snapped, "Attack!" The beast took one heavy step forward, then it stopped. Its claws froze inches from the human. The hall went silent. "What are you waiting for?" Lord Curzon roared. The Gorath hound pulled back slightly. Its ears flattened. Its tail lowered. Fear touched the noble's eyes for just a moment. The human slowly raised his hand, palm open. Not as a threat, not as a command. "Just calm, easy," he said softly. Several aliens gasped. No one spoke to a Gorath hound like that. They were bred for killing, for war. Lord Curzon stepped forward angrily. "You dare treat my pet like a common animal?" The human turned his head and looked at the noble now. His eyes were steady, not angry, not afraid. "I treat it with respect," the human replied. "Something you forgot." That sentence hit harder than any weapon. The noble's face darkened. "You insult me in my own station?" "This isn't your station," the human said. "You just think it is." The crowd held its breath. The Gorath hound looked between the two. Its breathing slowed. Its claws relaxed. Lord Curzon raised his arm again. "This is your last chance, human. Kneel or be eaten." The human did not kneel. He took one step forward instead. Several aliens screamed. The Gorath hound did not. "Attack!" Sniffed the human's armor again. There was something on him. Not blood. Not fear. Experience. Scars from worlds that killed stronger beings than Lord Curzon. The human spoke again. Quieter this time. "You trained it to obey fear," he said. "I trained myself to survive it." Lord Curzon's confidence cracked. "Guards!" he shouted. None moved. They were watching the beast. Watching the human. Waiting. The human lowered his hand and stood still. "This doesn't need to end badly," he said. "But it can if you say the wrong word." The noble swallowed. For the first time in many cycles, Lord Curzon was unsure. The Gorath hound let out a low sound. Not a growl, a warning, and the entire station realized one terrifying truth. The human was not trapped with the beast. The beast was deciding who it truly feared. The silence inside Virex 9 was heavy. No one moved. No one breathed loudly. Lord Curzon slowly lowered his raised arm. His fingers trembled, though he tried to hide it. The Gorath hound still stood between him and the human, but its body was no longer tense. "This is impossible," the noble hissed. "My pet has never disobeyed." The human did not smile. He did not look proud. He simply stood there, calm as stone. The Goroth hound lifted its massive head and looked directly at the human's eyes. Not like prey. Not like food, not like recognition. The crowd whispered again. That beast killed a war squad. It crushed a battle tank. It has no mercy. Yet now, it hesitated. Lord Curzon stepped closer, anger burning through his fear. "Attack him," he screamed again. "Now!" The command echoed through the hall. The Goroth hound growled, but the sound was different. Lower, uncertain. It took a step, then another. Not forward. Sideways. Away from the human. Gasps spread like fire. What is it doing? Is it broken? Did the human poison it? Lord Curzon's eyes widened in horror. "You worthless creature," he shouted. "I own you." The word own echoed. The Goroth hound flinched. The human finally spoke again. His voice was still calm, but now it carried weight. "No," he said, "you don't." Everyone froze. The human looked at the beast, not at the noble. "You were raised in chains," he said softly. "Taught fear, taught pain." The beast's breathing slowed. "I know that life," the human continued. "I've lived on worlds where fear was the only law." Lord Curzon laughed nervously. "Do not listen to him. He is weak, he is human." The human turned his head slowly toward the noble. This time, his eyes were cold. "You think humans are weak because we feel fear," he said. "But fear taught us something your kind never learned." He paused. "How to stand anyway." The Goroth hound lowered its head slightly. That small movement shook the guards. Lord Curzon took a step back without realizing it. "Guards!" he barked again. "Seize the human." 2 armored guards moved forward. Their weapons hummed. The Goroth hound snapped, its head toward them, and growled sharply. They stopped instantly. Sweat ran down the noble's face. "You dare threaten my guards now?" he whispered to the beast. The Goroth hound did not look at him. Its eyes stayed on the human. The human raised his hand again, slow and careful. He did not touch the beast. "Not yet. You don't have to choose," the human said. "But you already did." The beast took one heavy step forward, toward the human. The hall erupted in panic. "He's dead." The beast changed its mind. "Run!" But the Goroth hound stopped inches away. It lowered its massive head. Not in attack. In submission. The sound of metal armor hitting the floor echoed. Lord Curzon had fallen to one knee. "No," he whispered. "That beast is mine." The human looked down at the kneeling noble. "No," he said again. "You only scared it." He then looked back at the Goroth hound. And fear never lasts forever. The beast let out a deep breath. The acid stopped dripping from its teeth. Its claws relaxed. The station guards slowly lowered their weapons. Something had changed. Not just control. Authority. Lord Curzon forced himself to stand. His voice was shaking now. "What are you?" he demanded. "A trainer? A psychic?" The human shook his head. "I'm just human," he said. "We don't rule beasts with fear. We survive them." The noble clenched his fists. "This ends now," he growled. "You think you've won?" The human's eyes narrowed slightly. "I haven't said the word yet." The Goroth hound stiffened at that. The noble noticed. "What word?" he asked. Quietly. The human did not answer. Instead, alarms suddenly blared across the station. Red lights flashed. Security drones activated. Lord Curzon smiled weakly. "Now you are trapped." The human finally smiled. Not wide. Not cruel, just confident. Then, "Let's see," he said, "who this beast listens to when things get loud." The Goroth hound turned its massive body, placing itself fully between the human and the noble. The crowd realized the Truth. This was no longer a threat. This was a shift of power, and it had only just begun. The alarms continued to scream. But no one ran anymore. Everyone was watching the human. Security drones hovered above the hall, their red eyes scanning. They locked onto the human first. Identify yourself, a metallic voice ordered. The human did not look up. Instead, one of the older station merchants slowly stepped forward. His scales were pale with fear. Wait, the merchant said. I think I know that armor. The human turned his head slightly. The merchant swallowed hard. That symbol on your chest, he continued, pointing with a shaking claw. It's worn by humans who survived the frontier zones. A low murmur spread through the crowd. The frontier zones? No one survives there. Entire fleets vanish. Lord Curzon felt his stomach tighten. The human spoke calmly. I didn't survive, he said. I finished my contract. That sentence hit like a shockwave. One of the station guards lowered his weapon. I've heard stories, the guard said quietly. Humans sent alone to death worlds. Who returned? The Goroth hound's ears twitched at the sound of the word humans. Lord Curzon laughed loudly, trying to regain control. Stories and rumors, he shouted. You are letting fear rule you. But his voice lacked strength. Another alien stepped forward, a cargo pilot with a scarred face. I was at the Callous outpost, she said. I saw a human calm a war beast during a riot. Didn't kill it, just spoke to it. Her eyes locked onto the human. It looks like him. The crowd fell silent again. The human finally looked up at the hovering drones. Stand down, he said, firm but quiet. The drones did not move. Lord Curzon sneered. Machines don't fear you, human. The Goroth hound growled softly. The human tilted his head. They're programmed by beings who do. The Goroth hound suddenly stepped forward and roared, not at the human. At the drones. The roar shook the hall. Several drones drifted back instinctively. The guards stared in disbelief. Lord Curzon stumbled back. That beast is malfunctioning. No, the human replied. It's learning. The noble's breathing became fast and shallow. Say your name, he demanded. Say it so I can end this. The human paused. Then he spoke. My name doesn't matter, he said. But you know my kind. The merchant whispered it first. HFY. Others followed. HFY. Humanity, fear, yes. They always say that. Lord Curzon's eyes widened. No, he whispered. That's propaganda. The human took a step forward. The Goroth hound moved with him. HFY isn't a threat, the human said. It's a reminder. The noble backed into a pillar. A reminder of what? He asked weakly. That humans don't break the way you expect, the human answered. You push us into darkness, and we adapt. The Goroth hound lowered its massive body beside the human. Calm now, protective. The drone slowly powered down. The guards followed. Authority had changed hands without a single strike. Lord Curzon slid down the pillar and sat heavily. His voice cracked. What do you want? He asked. The human looked around at the frightened crowd. Nothing, he said. I just wanted to pass through. He turned to leave. The Goroth hound followed. The noble shouted after him, desperate now. You think this is over? The human stopped. This time, when he turned back, his eyes were hard. I still haven't said the word, he said. The Goroth hound's muscles tensed instantly. The entire hall froze. Lord Curzon understood at last. The human had never been afraid. He had been restraining himself. The station was silent again. Not the calm kind of silence. The kind that waits for something to break. Lord Curzon stared at the human like a cornered animal. His chest rose and fell fast. He could feel it now. He had lost control. You keep talking about this word, the noble said, forcing a weak laugh. If you're so powerful, say it. Let us see what happens. The human did not answer right away. He looked at the Goroth hound. then at the frightened faces around them, then back at Lord Curzon. You trained it to respond to anger, the human said. You rewarded violence. The Goroth hound shifted, listening. But anger is loud, the human continued. And loud things break. Lord Curzon clenched his jaw. You think you are teaching me now? No, the human replied. I'm giving you a last chance. The noble's eyes flicked to the guards, to the drones. None of them moved. He realized then that the station was no longer his. Rage took over. Enough, Lord Curzon screamed. Kill him. Kill them all. The command echoed through the hall. For a heartbeat. Nothing happened. Then, the Goroth hound slowly turned its massive head, not toward the human, toward Lord Curzon. The noble whispered, That's not what I ordered. The human spoke at last. One word, not loud, not angry. Stand. The Goroth hound froze, every muscle locked. Its breathing slowed. Its eyes burned with awareness. The entire station shook as the beast lowered itself, not in attack, but in obedience. It stood still, perfectly controlled. Lord Curzon collapsed backward. That's impossible, he said over and over. I raised it, I owned it. The human walked forward, slow and steady. The Goroth hound stayed still, like a mountain waiting. You never owned it, the human said. You only scared it into listening. He stopped in front of the noble. Fear works fast, he continued, but it doesn't last. The guards finally stepped in. Not to stop the human, but to restrain Lord Curzon. The noble screamed as they grabbed him. Release me! I am your master. No one listened. The Goroth hound did not even look at him. The human turned to the beast again. You're free now, he said quietly. The Goroth hound blinked, slowly, carefully. Then it took a step forward and placed itself beside the human, not as a weapon. As a choice. The station erupted into whispers. He didn't force it. It chose him. This is human power. The human looked around one last time. Remember this, he said to the crowd. Humans don't rule with fear. He paused. We survive it. With that, he began to walk away. The Goroth hound followed. Behind them, Lord Curzon screamed as he was dragged away. His threats meant nothing now, because everyone understood the truth. The human did not need many words, he only needed one. News does not travel fast in space. It travels inevitably. Within hours, whispers from Varix 9 reached nearby systems. Within days, recordings spread across trade routes, pirate nets, and military channels. A human had faced a Goroth hound. A human had spoken one word. And the beast had obeyed. On Varix 9, the station felt different now. Lighter, quieter. The guards stood straighter. Merchants reopened their stalls. For the first time in many cycles, no one feared Lord Curzon. Because he was gone. The human stood at the observation deck, staring into the stars. He did not celebrate. He did not speak to the crowds that watched him from a distance. Beside him sat the Goroth hound, not chained, not muzzled. Free. Station officials approached carefully, keeping distance from the beast. Human, one of them said, voice respectful. We don't know what to call you. The human didn't turn. Then don't, he replied. Names cause expectations. The Goroth hound shifted closer to him. Large, protective. A young alien worker whispered to another. It sits with him like a guard. No, the other replied softly. Like family. Across the galaxy, reactions exploded. Some alien councils panicked. If humans can control war beasts, we are not safe. Others laughed nervously. Just a trick. Luck. Human networks. Stayed quiet. That silence frightened the galaxy more than threats ever could. Back on Varix 9, a group of traders approached the human. They bowed not deeply, but sincerely. You changed the balance here, one said. What do you want in return? The human finally turned. Nothing, he said. Just remember what you saw. The Goroth hound lifted its head and let out a low sound. Not a roar, a warning. At that same moment, a military transmission arrived at the station. Priority level. Extreme. The human read it once, then deleted it. What was that? A guard asked nervously. An invitation, the human replied. One I won't accept, the guard swallowed. Why not? The human looked down at the Goroth hound. Because they want a weapon, he said. And I won't give them one. The beast pressed its massive head lightly against the human's side. Trust. That simple act was captured on camera. That image spread faster than the fight ever did. A human. A legendary beast. Standing together by choice. Alien academies replayed the footage. Military commanders paused training sessions. Predator species felt something new twist in their chests. Uncertainty. For centuries, fear had flowed one way. Now it hesitated. The human prepared his ship quietly. No guards stopped him. No official questioned him. As he walked toward the docking bay, the station staff lined the corridor. Not cheering. Not shouting. Watching. The human paused at the entrance. Take care of this place, he said. Fear grows back if you feed it. Then he boarded his ship. The Goroth hound followed without hesitation. As the ship launched, a single thought spread across the galaxy. Humans did not conquer with fleets. They did not rule with monsters. They changed the rules and walked away. And somewhere, in distant systems, powerful beings began to ask the same question Lord Curzon once asked. Why aren't they afraid? The human ship did not go far. It drifted at the edge of the system, engines low, silent like a watching eye. The stars outside the window burned cold and distant. Inside the ship, the human sat in the pilot's seat. The Goroth hound lay nearby, massive body calm, breathing slow. For the first time since Virex 9, the beast slept. The human watched it quietly. On dozens of worlds, emergency councils were being called. Screens lit up with the same image again and again, a human standing calm. A war beast standing still. Humans are evolving, one alien leader said. They were always dangerous. Another replied, now they are unpredictable. Some demanded action. Others urged caution. One empire made a different decision. A single warship dropped out of hyperspace near the human vessel. No weapons powered. No threats broadcast, only a message, request dialogue. Peaceful intent. The Goroth hound woke instantly. Its ears lifted. Its eyes locked on the incoming ship. The human placed a hand on the floor. Easy, he said. The beast relaxed. The alien ship opened a channel. A tall, silver-skinned figure appeared on the screen. We have watched you. The alien said, you could become a great weapon. The human's eyes hardened. I already refused that offer. The alien nodded. Then become a symbol. Silence followed. The human stood and walked closer to the screen. A symbol of what? He asked. The alien leaned forward. A line, it said. One that should not be crossed. The Goroth hound stood up behind the human, towering. Not aggressive. Present. You want me to scare the galaxy? The human said. Yes, the alien replied honestly. Fear keeps order. The human shook his head slowly. Fear breaks things, he said. Trust holds them together. The alien studied him carefully. And if trust fails? The human looked back at the beast. Then I stand, he answered. So does he. The channel went quiet. Moments passed. Then the alien spoke again. We will withdraw, it said. But understand this, others will not. The screen went dark. The human returned to his seat. The Goroth hound sat beside him. A new signal appeared. This one chaotic, encrypted, desperate. Pirate vessels. 3 of them. They had followed the story. They wanted to test it. Weapons powered up in the darkness. The Goroth hound growled. The human's hand hovered over the controls. Not today, he said. Instead of attacking, he opened all channels. This is a warning, the human said calmly. Turn back. Laughter echoed from the pirate ships. We want to see the trick again. A pirate voice mocked. The human looked at the Gorath hound. This was the choice. Weapon. Or something else. The human took a breath. He powered down his own weapons. The pirates hesitated. The Gorath hound stepped forward into view of the external cameras, not roaring, not threatening. Watching. The pirates' laughter faded. Silence returned. One pirate ship turned away. Then another. The last followed. The human exhaled slowly. The Gorath hound sat back down. Across the galaxy, unseen by most, a truth settled in. The human did not win because he could destroy them. He won because he didn't need to, and the final test was still coming. The stars drifted slowly past the human ship as it moved beyond the system. No alarms followed. No fleets chased them, only silence. Inside the ship, the Gorath hound stood at the viewport, watching the lights fade. It was no longer restless. No longer tense. It was at peace. The human adjusted the course and leaned back. In his seat. For the first time since Virex 9, he allowed himself to relax. Across the galaxy, the story had already changed. It was no longer about a beast. It was no longer about a threat. It was about a choice. Alien academies stopped teaching that humans were weak. Military leaders rewrote threat reports. Predator species hesitated before roaring. Not because humans were stronger, but because they were different. On Virex 9, a small memorial was placed in the main hall. No statue, just words carved into metal. Fear does not rule here. Travelers stopped to read it. Many remembered the day everything shifted. Far away, Lord Karazun sat in a holding cell, stripped of titles and power. No guards stood close. They did not need to. His fear was enough. He replayed the moment again and again. Not the roar. Not the threat. The calm voice. The single word. Stand. That word had ended him. Back on the human ship, the Gorath hound turned and lowered its massive head. Not because it was told to, because it wanted to. The human reached out and rested a hand against its thick hide. You're free, he said softly. You always were. The beast closed its eyes. It had never known freedom before. Not in cages. Not in chains. Not in fear. Now it did. The ship passed into open space, far from borders and empires. No destination marked. Just movement. Just choice. Somewhere ahead, new worlds waited. Worlds that believed fear was power. Worlds that would learn otherwise. The galaxy would not remember the human's name. He never gave it. They would remember the lesson instead, that when threatened, humans do not always fight. They do not always run. Sometimes they stand. And when they do, even monsters listen. The Gorath hound let out a deep, calm breath and lay down beside the human. Not a weapon. Not a pet. A companion. As the ship disappeared into the dark, one truth spread quietly from world to world. You can control fear for a time, but you can never own it, because the moment fear is gone, only choice remains, and humans will always choose.